So let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is picking your style. So if you can take a look here, you'll see that there's quite a few styles and not everything kind of fits in one bucket or another, but let's just touch on the five that we see to the side here. The first one is modern. Modern is what I would consider to be what we're seeing a lot of today, which is it's a little more, I guess, cleaner lined even than a transitional space. So a modern kitchen would have very, I would say, neutral colors, maybe with, maybe pops of color here and there, but really keeping things very neutral, very organic, very natural, very calming, not a lot of lines going on. So for us, that would really be a modern kitchen. A classic kitchen, you could see this corbel to the right. So that really is a great example of a classic kitchen. So when we get into kitchens that have still maybe paints with glazes and, maybe some distressing in cabinetry. So cabinetry that looks more like furniture would be what I would consider to be classic in nature. There are a lot of homes in Northeast Ohio, in Chagrin Falls, Shaker Heights, Cleveland Heights, all of the areas, a lot of the areas here in Northeast Ohio where there's still these beautiful, very classic kitchens that really are timeless and never really go out of style. So there are certain elements that are going to be really important to bring that classic kitchen together. Contemporary is the next one. I know for Kevin and I would say we really love the contemporary kitchens.
We do, yeah.
So one of the things that we love about contemporary kitchens, really a lot of truly contemporary kitchens, you're going to have these kind of very modern looks taken to the next level coming from Europe. So again, very clean lines, sleeker materials. You may have some different uses of metals, I would say. And also you see different combinations when it comes to colors, but I would say a lot of contemporary kitchens have some dramatic features to them, but they're they're also very clean lined in nature and simple, yet really well tailored and put together. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. I agree. And I think the contemporary is, and Anne can speak to this, I think it can sometimes be difficult to pull off correctly. Like we've seen a lot of people attempt contemporary and not really kind of pull it off.
Yeah, maybe not quite achieve it to the level that it deserves. So there are certain elements that I think when people come in and they want a truly contemporary kitchen, a lot of that really lies in the details. And as Kevin said, you really want to rely on a specialist that has a true understanding for what contemporary is and what it means in order to complete a design that can be as beautiful and finished as it should be and as it deserves. Because a lot of times they are very simple, but it truly is in the details. So then we have transitional. I think transitional is a word that we all hear a lot, and certainly many kitchens have moved to transitional. I think here in Northeast Ohio, we have a lot of transitional kitchens, more in some of the outlying suburbs as well. So again, when it comes to transitional, we're seeing a lot of still the shaker style or recessed panel doors. We're seeing mixes of paints along with having stains with that as well. And then interesting mixes of countertop materials and even some new finishes when it comes to plumbing hardware or plumbing and also hardware. So then the last style that we're going to talk about for just a moment would be just that classic farmhouse. So I think when most people think farmhouse, they think this maybe a white kitchen with soapstone or a honed finish on that countertop. And I would say for us, we still are seeing homes that are using some elements that really would go along with that farmhouse style of even the beadboard. We still have kitchens, again, it would come back to some of those details in that mix of that black and white, a lot of matte finishes when it comes to that. And then different wood species. And again, maybe some of the more rustic wood species we're seeing in the farmhouse style as well.
Yeah, I would say that, most of our projects are probably fall into that transitional style just because of, we're blending and personalizing based off of maybe the architecture of the home, the amount of trim or types of woods in the home, or even just kind of their style, and then giving it a little bit more of a more modern or contemporary flair, would you say?
Yes, yes. I think it's really interesting. If you take a look at a lot of our pictures on our website, there's a lot of diversity. And it's when you start talking in terms of what you see here, it's a lot different than being able to take a look at some pictures. So this is really very much just a starting point. And I think once you look online and you see some of the diversity and the projects that we've completed, you can start to see these trends in modern, classic, contemporary, transitional, and farmhouse. Because as Kevin said, a lot of kitchens are transitional with kind of hints at modern or contemporary, but at the same time, there are true modern kitchens that we do. There are true classic kitchens. There are very pure contemporary kitchens that we do as well. So much of it really comes down to the homeowner and understanding what it is that they're really looking for, because sometimes they could say something and it's not necessarily what they mean when we dive a little deeper to have a real understanding before we move forward.